All right, I purchased and reviewed a lot of Ironmaster products, some of which I have not shared with you, but I will share with you in this video, including their new weight vest, and move them all into this small space in this room in my basement, which is only about 9 feet wide, about 7 feet in length, and about 89 inches in height. And just to give you guys a reference, because there'll be a lot of B-roll, I am 6 feet tall. To really make the case that whether you're talking budget or, of course, working with a limited footprint or space, that I believe the Ironmaster brand is probably the best ecosystem in the home gym market. I know it's kind of a big claim. I'm not saying it's totally perfect, but I do want to set up front here, like I said at the start of the video, I purchased everything you guys are seeing here, not a paid promotional video. Definitely share your comments down below on feedback that you think I'm wrong or right on this matter. To keep these reviews going, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. If you pick up anything from Ironmaster either now or in the future, please consider checking out those affiliate links. Greatly appreciated. It's very popular nowadays with every brand trying to build their own little mini ecosystem, especially in this growing modular market. And the original point of this video was actually go through an ecosystem tier list. So I really realized that ultimately Ironmaster wins as a clear-cut winner at the end of the day with some of these comments I'll get into. Certainly, again, share those down below. There are a lot of reasons for that, but the ecosystem is only as good as its foundation, and they have one of the best foundations out there with a long time and long track record to their favor. So starting off with their adjustable dumbbells, they're still in the heaviest capacity in its class of any adjustable dumbbell out there. I don't think I mentioned it, but I reviewed these, many other products. I'll link those videos down below if you guys are curious. Of course, a foundation to their ecosystem that stems out many other things you can build upon these. Dumbbells are certainly not perfect, and there are some critiques that I've certainly had even in recent videos or past videos, but aside from the dumbbells, they also have one of, if not the best bench on the market, the Super Bench version 2. Even the Super Bench version 1 is also pretty cool, and that is because everything else kind of stems off this bench. I find the Super Bench to be ideal in a number of ways, but primarily because it is so light and so versatile, and it's just comfortable all around. But the big reason, of course, is because you have all these different pieces and attachments that can then go onto the Super Bench that many companies now have gone on to try and replicate and copy. But with this combination of one of, if not the best, well-respected adjustable dumbbells on the market that'll last you a lifetime, and then also one of the best benches, they have this foundation that is really geared towards not just the elite lifter, because these things arguably, again, can go to the highest capacity any pro bodybuilder or powerlifter could possibly lift. They're also built to last, incredibly durable. You're not going to break these things. But I'd say primarily their product line is really geared towards the common man, because most people who are considering picking up a basic stuff for their home gym, they're looking for probably first a bench and some adjustable dumbbells, because most people are not working with a crazy amount of big gym space, nor do they necessarily want that. I'll get to this later, but budget, of course, being a big factor for everybody nowadays. But the good thing about their stuff is you can kind of start slow and then work your way up, adding on when you guys have more money to kind of throw at it versus having an all-in-one investment. Regardless of your socioeconomic status, when I talk to people at Home Gym Equipment or some of the stuff I do here, by and large, most people are very pragmatic. They do not want to invest in these giant garage gyms such as what I have in my garage. They don't want to start amassing tons of pieces of equipment. They really want something that is fairly simplistic, doesn't take up a lot of room. They recognize nowadays they possibly might be moving, job changes, or they don't necessarily have a big space to actually work with in the first place. So stuff that is fairly tight and compact and also versatile like this that can literally fit in a moving garage or a corner of a room then to be broken out can be very attractive to a lot of people. And finally, while I do think the evolving home gym technology is very fascinating, I think most people realize on a surface level, they understand the nuts and bolts of how free weights and how these basic parts and accessories are all going to fit together and can be effective. But then when you start comparing it to other brands that are fairly well established and some growing ones that are coming on the scene, a lot of their pieces and accessories and even the space that they're going to need are still fairly large. Again, conversely to this, what can be stored up, stocked away, and also don't need any extra assembly. And this space is still pretty new to me, but I wanted to show you guys a lot of background footage in a workout and how it typically would look, kind of changing things up kind of on the fly. But aside from the dumbbells and the bench, the accessories are really kind of the meat and potatoes of things. And I've said many times, if you guys have some free weights, you have a bench, some sort of cable related system, especially some sort of top pull system, you have pretty much everything you need. Some of these things might be a little bit more kind of icing on the cake, like the cable attachment. This thing can be a little wonky. I've covered this in a whole separate video, but it does sink in pretty nicely and gives you all the load you possibly would want. Say out a lat pull down, you could do seated rows, curls. Their pull-up bar attachment, which I had to check out for myself, is very cool going along with this Super Bench. And if you just got a pull-up bar, a weight, and a bench, most people would say that's kind of like the trifecta. You could even anchor things if you didn't want a cable machine, such as resistance bands, to the top of the pull-up bar and do some tricep press downs or even lat pulls from that position if you guys wanted to. Shots here in the video with my resistance bands, but I have bands in this. This is a very solid setup, all I for sure would need. Sit-up bar attachment is good. These dip bars work out really well too for not just dips, but also the real reason I wanted to pick these up because I saw some clips on their Instagram, people doing those kind of human flags and just doing some lower leg raises anchored to the back of this, and this does feel excellent, so this is not something I regret getting. And I don't necessarily want to give lip service to some of these accessories because some of these things are definitely big and not totally necessary. They're nice if you want them, such as the preacher curl attachment, but you're going to need a home and space for all this. They do have a storage thing that when I first saw it,
what is this monstrosity?
It probably is necessary, and I actually might consider picking that up myself. Of course, Ironmaster is using the standard 1-inch holes for all of their dumbbells, so this goes in any kind of standard barbell. Of course, they sell their own barbell and easy curl bar if you guys are looking at it. I had an old pig iron bar. I still use that. It feels good and works fine with even their heavier weights. And I've said before, I don't use things such as weight vests or kettlebells that much, but their weight vests and kettlebells do feel really good. And just as a mini review, I can do a more detailed one on this if you want to. They're a new weight vest, which I would say is an upgrade compared to their big one. This one holds up to 70 pounds, but I just found it's still kind of big that the sides would kind of pinch in to like the armpit area, so it was not the most comfortable thing in the world, so I really did not use this thing that much. So I went ahead and purchased this new one. I saw Brian, their marketing guy, doing a lot of outdoor runs and stuff like that. And this thing, while it only holds 40 pounds, it is incredibly comfortable. It has a nice little carrying pouch in front, and as I was doing this workout here, I kind of forgot it was even on me. So that should say something about the quality of this vest, which I do like so far, but I'll give you guys an update about that more in the future. This will kind of lead into pricing in a second, but one of the things that is built into their reputation is their stuff is built to last. It is not manufactured in the USA, which that would be nice. But what I've heard, and I've looked into this a little bit more, especially from feedback from you guys talking about the Taiwanese manufacturing process. Shout out to my friend Skylar King, who lives in Taiwan, who brought this to my attention. I looked into it. If you're not going to get something made in the USA, second best may very well be Taiwan. They have a very strong reputation for not just build quality and what they put into their products, but also their precision engineering. And that was something when I talked to Ironmaster, my first discussions with them, and asking them what's so good about your product. One of the things they did stress was this precision engineered plates that is kind of baked into their system. That leads into price, and I've heard arguments on both sides of the equation about either Ironmaster being a little too expensive and not worth it, or being more on the cheaper side compared to things such as, I just compared the Rep Pepin dumbbells, which are much more expensive dumbbell, and everyone was saying, you know, get the Ironmaster. These things are not only very affordable, fairly priced, they're also going to last you a lifetime. And so to stress that, I think their price is fair for what it is. They do have bundles. When you start adding things on top of it, you can build your own kind of package. As soon as you start adding a bench and some dumbbell stuff does get progressively cheaper. But their lifetime warranty on top of their reputation, another reason why I put it so high on the totem pole as being maybe the best, if not the best, ecosystem in the home gym space. Another very big point, as much as you want to kind of knock Ironmaster for kind of looking a little dated, kind of old school in its aesthetics, and even the build, while it's manufactured and has good quality, it just doesn't have the nice, good feeling aesthetics of some of the newer products out there. Something to be said for it is the change in design is not going anywhere. So I did ask them, reach out to them, are you guys going to change anything with your dumbbell or anything possibly going to be reworked in the future? And they told me no. They're definitely innovating and putting out new products, that's for sure. But the one thing that is great about Ironmaster is that you can start off small with like a base kit or like a base, say, adjustable dumbbell handle, whatever, and then kind of work your way up without having the fear of some of these other companies that are making brand new stuff that things just don't work together. So while I'm assuming they probably will in the future make things such as a new bench or improve upon different things, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to keep all the accessories and of course the dumbbell ecosystem all work interchangeably. So I think that gives people a nice kind of quality of mind that you can start off small and then gradually kind of add as you kind of either add more money into your budget or just with more space or interest start opening up to you. I do want to make a segment about some of the downsides, and I've covered these in past videos. Some of these already alluded to. First and foremost, like I said, not the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world. They are not the most user-friendly thing all the time. They can be a little cumbersome. They can be a little messy. Things such as just the dumbbells themselves. I mean, yeah, you got to have these plates kind of laying around. You need some sort of organizational structure for them. They are quick lock, but it does take some time. I try to show you guys a lot of B-roll of what that looks like. If you're having a space just like this, and I got to say, honestly, I had a great workout in here the last time I was doing this, but your workout's going to be different. You can't just start supersetting between things or just going from, say, bench press, I said many times, of like 70 pounds or dumbbell press for 70 pounds and going down to do some curls for 30. You can do it. It's just going to take a little time, and it just kind of feels like it's annoying enough, or just you think about changing the weights enough that it's like I might as well just pair two things together, and that's kind of what I did. So your workouts will probably evolve around just the process of the weight changing overall. And I'll just say at the end of the day, I don't really know what the cost is or the manufacturing that really goes into these. I mean, the reputation is really what I'm going off of. That stuff does last a long time, and so far all my stuff has been totally fine. But when you're up close with it, does it feel like it's the highest quality, you know, touch points and metal and just the engineering and stuff like that? Not necessarily. It kind of feels fairly basic for what it is, but I'm not buying it necessarily for the aesthetics and the look. I'm really buying it so I can integrate everything all together, their bench and their dumbbells, like I keep stressing. When I was considering like what is the best ecosystem, best brand that makes sense for most people's needs, for the typical average person, all things considered, immediately the brand Ironmasters kept jumping up the top of my head. Oftentimes this is the go-to recommendation where people are talking about they have a low space, low footprint. I'll often point to Ironmaster as a whole brand. Of course, you could just mix and match things, buy the adjustable dumbbell of your choice, buy a rack or buy something else and then piece it together. One thing I've stressed in many videos, which is a hard hot take in the home gym community, is I do not think many people necessarily need a squat rack, barbell, and some plates. Those, of course, great things, tried and true, they work great, but there is some caveats. I think some people either are at the age don't necessarily care about using a squat rack, they either can't use it or they got some injuries. For whatever reason, they're just not gonna use it or use it effectively. Two, they take up a lot of space, you need a lot more real estate to work with. And at the end of the day, if you gave me like the option where I am at this point in time, adjustable dumbbells, this setup that goes like this, or a rack, barbell, and plates, there's no question I would pick something like this at the end of the day, but that's just also for my style of working out. With a little caveat that if I was trying to hit legs, a barbell, some plates, and a basic squat is probably, you know, one of the best, if not the best exercise to do that most effectively and efficiently, and you can't do that so much with dumbbells. But I did not mention it, Ironmaster does make their own version of racks and barbells and like a Smith machine rack station thing too, but to me that takes away from the true charm of this brand, which is its compact, versatile, scalable nature of the stuff they put out there. But that is it though, guys. Any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. If you pick up anything now in the future from Ironmaster, check out those affiliate links, help support me immensely. I'll see you guys.